Joining me today is Todd Bensman. He is a senior national security fellow at the Center for Immigration Studies. Todd, thanks so much for joining me today.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Many of us have seen videos of a caravan of mostly Honduran migrants clashing with Guatemalan security forces. There have been reports that the caravan has been largely broken up by the Guatemalan military. What do you think was driving this caravan to begin with?
It's pretty clear. It's the incoming administration of Joe Biden almost entirely that the promises that he made during the campaign and the promise that he is going to present an amnesty bill tomorrow and end deportations and reverse everything that Donald Trump ever did, halt the wall and all of that kind of thing has really animated the Northern Triangle countries, those three, Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. But way beyond that, the entire world universe of aspiring migrants are very, very motivated. They say so. They are interviewed talking about it. We want to get there for Joe Biden. So, you hear a lot about in the regular media. Oh, it's about hurricanes, but it's not about hurricanes. There were many caravans that happened, long before there were hurricanes, and it's always been, not a great economy in that area. But this is really something different. I mean, we saw a few thousand migrant caravan blossom in a 24-hour period to 9,000, which is like maybe the largest one we've ever seen. And I think the next one's going to be as large or maybe even larger. They want in.
Now, to qualify for amnesty under Joe Biden's proposed plan, immigrants had to have been in the United States by January 1st. With that being said, do you think that will really stop people from trying to flood into Mexico and eventually toward the US southern border?
That's a great question. And honestly, I've thought about that just over maybe about a day's worth. So take that with a grain of salt. But my feeling about that is that there are many other kinds of amnesties that are going to be available for people who don't qualify or who would be excluded from an eventual amnesty under the congressional version of the bill, whatever it ever turns out to be. TPS, temporary protected status, for example. There's already a request by Honduras and Guatemala to grant TPS to all 1 million Hondurans who are already in this country, and close to about the same number with Guatemalans. That's essential. They call it temporary, but it's permanent. They'll always have protection and legal status under that. There's another thing called parole in place, where green cards can be just granted in mass by the executive branch. They have that authority. And also DACA-like programs for all the children coming in. The very easy to expand DACA or call it something else, and all kinds of children are coming in now. So I think that there's still enough of a tractor beam out there with just the other stuff that they're talking about beyond the January 1, you've got to be here by then. But I also think that we'll see gaming of the system, people that cross the border and run and try not to get caught, and can get into the interior. And then it was like, I got in here on December 30th. Believe me, Scouts honor, that we could see a lot of that sort of thing, or backdating documents, or some kind of things like that. But that is a good question, though.
Something that President Trump talked about last week was these potential terrorists that could be entering through the southern border. Specifically, he said,
We also have, and we had, but we have them all the time. We have terrorists from the Middle East coming into our country through the southern border. That was before what you see right here, because it was easier to come into our country through the southern border than it was through airports or any other means.
can you expand on what the president was talking about here?
What the president's remarks hearken to intelligence reporting and knowledge by people who are within the Homeland Security enterprise about the movement and human smuggling of people from the Middle East, including jihadists and people who are associated with terrorist organizations. The president was quite correct The book that's forthcoming that I wrote, America's Covert Border War, comes out February 9th, is all about what the president spoke of that day. I'll just give you the short answer. He was absolutely correct. They do come through. They land in South American countries and they make their way through Central America, camouflaged by all of those Spanish-speaking migrants. And no small number of them have been jihadists, have been associated with terrorist organization, have been watch listed. The president said in those remarks that went unreported, said that the numbers would be far greater than anybody even would believe at this point. And I would agree with that, and kind of urge people to pick up my book to see what I'm talking about. I lay it out. I lay it all out there, all of the reporting that he's talking about.
Well, Todd, I will definitely make sure to link your book in the article for this interview so people can take a look at that. As always, it's great to have you on. I always appreciate your insight and hope you'll join me again soon in the future.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the attention.